Imagine waking up tomorrow, no job, no certifications, no LinkedIn network, no experience, just you and a laptop. If I had to rebuild my technology career from absolute zero in 2026, there are only 5 certifications I will invest my time and money in. Not because they are the easiest, and certainly not because they are the most popular, but because when you add all of this certification together, they create the right roadmap that can open doors to cloud computing, AI, and one of the fastest growing professions in technology today, which is FinOps. Here is the mistake I see thousands of people making. They chase certifications instead of careers. They open LinkedIn. They see someone post another badge. They immediately buy another course. 6 months later, they have 8 certifications, but no interviews. You see, employers don't hire certificates. They hire people who understand technology. Certifications simply prove that understanding. Think about certifications individually. I think about them as stepping stones. Each one prepares you for the next. Together, they should build your confidence and eventually give you those opportunities, especially when they come knocking. It makes you get prepared. You're ready for any opportunities that come your way. And that's the way I see how those 5 certifications connect together. Let's start with artificial intelligence. And this is not because I think AI will replace every job, but because AI is becoming part of every job, whether you are a project manager, business analyst, cloud engineer, FinOps practitioner. AI is becoming another tool you will use every day. The goal isn't to become an AI scientist. The goal is to become the person who knows how to use AI responsibly to become more productive. That's why an AI fundamentals certification earns a place on my roadmap. Next comes Azure fundamentals. And here's why. Microsoft already dominates the workplace. Outlook, Teams, Microsoft 365, Active Directory, Windows. Those businesses are now moving their infrastructure to Azure. So the AZ 900 introduces you to cloud thinking, compute, storage, networking, identity, security, billing, pricing. You're not learning Azure, you are learning cloud. And that's why that earns a spot on my roadmap. Now, the next certification that earns a spot is AWS Cloud Practitioner. If cloud computing is the future of technology, then Amazon Web Services is one of the biggest reasons why. Today, millions of businesses around the world now rely on AWS to power their websites, mobile applications, streaming services, online shopping, banking platforms, and even their entire enterprise systems. In fact, many of the services you use every single day are running on AWS, even if you never realize it. That's why I believe every aspiring technology professional should understand how cloud platforms work. The AWS Cloud Practitioner isn't about becoming an expert overnight. It's about learning the building blocks of modern technology. You'll be introduced to concepts like compute, which is where applications actually run, storage, where data is securely kept, databases, how information is organized and retrieved, networking, which is how services communicate with one another. And then you learn about security. This is how cloud providers protect your information. And last but not the least, you also understand pricing. Perhaps this is the most overlooked topics by beginners. And here's my advice. Don't study AWS just to pass an exam. Ask yourself, why does a company choose cloud instead of buying physical servers? Why is object storage different from file storage? Why does auto-scaling matter? The answers to those questions are what employers actually pay for. A certification might get you noticed, but understanding the technology is what gets you hired. My fourth recommendation is Security Plus, or an equivalent entry-level cybersecurity certification. Now you're thinking, I'm not planning to become a cybersecurity engineer. That's perfectly fine. Neither are many cloud engineers, software developer, data analyst, or FinOps professionals. But every one of those roles deal with security every day. Every cloud environment has to protect customer data. Every application has to control who can access it. Every business has to think about privacy, compliance, and cyber threats. And understanding security fundamentals make you a better technology professional, regardless of your job title. You learn concepts like authentication, which is proving who you are, authorization, deciding what you are allowed to do, encryption, which is about protecting sensitive information, and then you have risk management, which is about understanding where organizations are vulnerable. And last but not the least, you will learn about security best practices, which is all around building systems that people can trust. Think of security as the foundation beneath every successful technology career. You don't need to become a security expert, but you absolutely need to understand how security influences every decision made in modern IT. And once you build that foundation, you're ready for the certification I believe will become one of the most valuable over the next decade. Now, we've reached the certification I believe will become increasingly valuable over the next decade, and that's FinOps. Organizations have spent years learning how to move into the cloud. Their next challenge is learning how to control cloud costs while continuing to innovate. Add artificial intelligence into the mix, and cloud spending becomes even more complex. FinOps sits at the intersection of technology, finance, and business value. And that's why I believe it's one of the most exciting careers in technology today. It's also the reason I built my own FinOps intensive program. We've now covered artificial intelligence, cloud fundamentals, AWS, and security. Each of these certifications teaches you an important piece of modern technology. But here's something I've learned throughout my career. Technology alone isn't enough. Building great cloud solutions is important. Keeping them secure is essential. But if organizations can't afford to run them, or they don't deliver business value, then everyone loses. And that's exactly where FinOps comes in. FinOps isn't just about reducing cloud costs. In fact, that's one of the biggest misconceptions about the profession. FinOps is about helping organizations make smarter decisions. It's about bringing together engineering, finance, operations, and business leadership to answer questions like, are we spending our cloud budget wisely? Which teams are creating the most value? Where are we wasting money? How can we continue innovating without losing financial control? And today, those questions have become even more important because artificial intelligence is changing everything. Every AI prompt, every GPU, every large language model, every cloud workload comes with a cost. Companies aren't just asking, can we build AI? They're asking, can we afford to scale AI responsibly? That's why I believe FinOps is entering one of the most exciting periods in its history. It's no longer just a cloud discipline. It's becoming a business discipline, one that helps organizations maximize the value of every pound they invest in technology. And that's exactly why, if I were starting my career again today, this is the certification I would ultimately be working towards. Not because it's fashionable, not because it's easy, but because it sits at the intersection of technology, business, finance, and the future of AI. And that's a place I believe will only become more valuable over the next decade. If we put everything together, this isn't just a list of 5 certifications. It's a roadmap, a journey from understanding technology to understanding cloud to understanding security, and finally to understanding how businesses create value from technology. Before you spend hundreds or even thousands of pounds on certification exams, ask yourself one question. Do I actually understand the technology behind them? That's exactly why I created the Tech Fluency Accelerator. It's designed to give you the confidence to understand the concepts before you ever sit an exam. And once you build that foundation, those certifications become significantly easier. If that sounds like the approach you want to take, you'll find the link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Wednesday for another Career Wednesday here on BeUpwardlyTech.